do a quick introduction. Cool. We are live. Welcome to virtual co-hacking live stream at Noisebridge. Tonight we are working again on VirtualCoffeeBot, a Slack integration bot that our friend Aditya can tell more about. So I'm going to turn it over to him in just a sec. Wait just a sec. Looks like we're dropping a lot of frames. Okay. Yeah, we're dropping a lot of frames. So wait just a sec.
No problem.
Let's see. Okay. It is working again. Yep.
Cool. Let me know when I should begin.
Great. Now it's having the same problems again. Okay.
Where's it dropping the frames in the chain?
It's encoding on my computer.
On your computer?
Yeah, there's an issue with encoding. Yeah, I might have too much connected, so wait just a sec. Let me stop the stream. Okay, that looks stable. Just going to double check. Yeah, okay. It's working. That's cool. So, welcome to another co-hacking night at Noisebridge. This live stream is going to be a virtual coffee bot, a Slack integration bot. I'll hand it over to Aditya, who's the one actually working on this project. So here's Aditya.
Thank you, Ryan. Hey, everybody. Before I start, I just wanted to showcase another project that my collaborator's been working on. It'll be coming up pretty soon. It's called bank.green, and it allows you to see if your bank is involved in the fossil fuel industry. So maybe you can switch to a greener bank. I don't know. So let's see how Wells Fargo does. Probably not so well. Yeah, number 3 in the world for fossil fuel financing, and has a bunch of information. And yeah, I think it's a pretty cool project. Let me jump back to VirtualCoffeeBot here. VirtualCoffeeBot is a pretty straightforward bot that we hope will have a lot of really useful, produce a lot of useful connections amongst people. It allows people, this administrator of a Slack, to create groups of people based on channel membership, and then schedule coffee meetings for the members in that pool. A simple demonstration, is probably more straightforward. I can create a new coffee group. I can call it people who want to meet part two. I can decide which channel members should be in it. I can filter out channel members if I would like. And then this is the final member list of my coffee pool. Once I have a coffee pool, the bot generates a list of every potential meeting of the members in that pool. That page is wrong because actually it should just be the 3 members, not the 5 members. So what I'm working on right now is the ability to mark these meetings as done, and then to be able to schedule these meetings for the future, the ones that remain. I'd like to schedule them for the future like this, right? So for the future weeks, this was last week, so I guess we should update it, 3/29, and then week of April 5th, whatever. It should produce, it should make 1 meeting per participant per week so that no one has more than 1 coffee appointment every week, and it should just distribute them like that. And then in a last step, we will notify those people that they're paired, or quite frankly, to control noise, even if it just generates these lists and maintains them, that's a real useful tool for administrators. They can then reach out to the people. Like in my workplace, we started doing this without the software, and the head of HR administers it, and she basically sends everybody in the company an email on Friday with their pairings for the next week. That works fine too. So yeah, the big utility is to be able to manage these pairings, and so I'm really excited. Hopefully today I'll get the back end part of that completely done, which is going to be a pretty big milestone, because that means there's only one more small step, which is hosting it on virtualcoffeebot.com, which we own, away from actually deploying it in a private beta to like my workplace and any other organizations that may be interested in trying this out for a few weeks before we roll out to the public. So yeah, with that said, my agenda for today is in the meeting. It's basically, last week I generated meeting objects in place of just pairs of members. So if you actually look at these meetings, which are wrong, let's see why they're wrong. They're not excluding the members who are excluded is the problem. But yeah, these meetings are pairs of members instead of being unified meeting objects. So what I did last week is I changed it so that you can create meeting objects, and I didn't substitute the endpoints, so you still get the meeting member list instead of the actual meeting objects. But here I left it. I was drafting a test that would test created meeting objects instead of a member list. And the reason we want meeting objects instead of a member list is so that then we can mark meetings as done, which has now been designed in the object model. And actually, as Elias pointed out, if we can just schedule all the meetings by week using another function, then making this page in the front end becomes extremely straightforward. You just have a button that schedules all future unscheduled meetings. And by week, by unique participant. So it's my goal today to be able to mark the meetings as done, figure out a reasonable way in the UX to cache and regenerate that meeting list, and then write an algorithm to actually schedule all the remaining meetings that are not done. So it's my goal to finish these in the back end in this session. And yeah, let's see if I can do it. It's not the longest shot in the world. It's probably the right amount of work. So I don't know. She's Ryan, who's back, I guess. So my primary way of developing this is by using unit testing. So I write tests that I run them. So I guess the first thing I want to do is go back to where I was last week, which is what would it take to return generated meetings instead of a meeting member list. And before we look at that, I want to understand why the generated member list is not considering the people who've been excluded. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do today is consider the people who've been excluded, figure out why they're missing, why they're excluded, and they are not in the meeting member list. Right, so just to review in the UX, which is sometimes the easiest way to do it, if I refresh this page, it should remember that only these 3 members are in the group. And so this meeting list should respect the limited membership. It's now actually the meeting list for all the members. So let's take a look and see why that's the case. That's in the generate meetings for group function. Oh, okay. Get external member list for group. Yeah, it should be deleting the excluded external members. So, all right, let me go back and see what is the checkbox toggling. When I click on Aditya, okay, I'm setting the excluded members. Just Jamie is excluded, which is correct. Now, if I uncheck that, I should have 2 excluded members. That's exactly what I have. So my excluded members should be here in my group exclude external members. Anyway, this is why we also have pgadmin, so we can look in the database, see what's going on. So let's try 5052. No, is it not? Ah, no, it is. There it is. All right, let's try that password. Let's see if it works. Very nice. Cool. It's ACB TV. CTV. Okay, that's how I test the connection. Okay, password failed. Let's just see what the password here is. There's a oops .m file and a Docker. Okay, VCB. Okay. Hard enough. No. Cool. So now I'm looking at the database. Database is VCB. Schemas, tables. Yeah, I know it's really buried in there. Group exclude external members, and the group ID is 2. So let's take a look at you. Cancel. Okay, group ID is 2, and those are the 2 members that are excluded. Okay, so why is this function not giving me the value that I want? So I'm going to delete external members. So why isn't this happening? Right. So this has probably got something to do with JavaScript's, my misunderstanding of how JavaScript set delete works. I mean, I recently became a professional JavaScript developer and only then discovered how little I know about JavaScript. Let's create an object with let's create a new set. So x is a new set that has nothing in it. Let's add to x random. Can I increase the font size here so you can see it? Yeah, I can. Great. Let's add a random object one, which can be called random one true. Right? Whatever. So now x is a set with one member. That member is random one true. So now if I do x.delete, I pass it an object, which is identical seeming to the one inside. Yeah, okay, that didn't delete it. So that was the problem. So how do I delete an object from a set? A set in JavaScript. Right, but how do I know which one to remove? Um, hmm. Okay, that's one way to do it, to find the matching object and delete it that way. Okay, for const external member, found member is equal to member list dot find and member id is equal to external member id, and if found member list dot delete found member. Oh, I mean, that should actually fix my problem. Let's see if it did. So we should now have less meetings. I guess the server is not back up yet. Let's try it out. Uh-oh, TypeScript error. Property find does not exist on type set. Okay, so set is not an array. Right, so can I do, let's look up. No, has is not going to work. Increase, we'll turn it into an array. Let's try that. Set dot entries. It's not a good idea either. For each, really? It's got something better than that. No, it's not gonna work. All right, I guess I could just use an array instead of set. Where? Oh, I see that the set is useful. Matching becomes expensive. And let's do convert set to array. Okay. Let's do array member list is equal to I guess let me just make sure that the set add also won't add the same item twice if it's an object. Okay, so let's do x is a new set. X add random one true. It's no good. So you can add the same object twice because they're two different objects. Okay, so this whole usage of set was based on my knowledge of Python sets, which are clearly very different. So I guess I'm better off just using a library like Lodash to manage this and using an array throughout. So just make this a member list array. And then I do member list push. And then yes, yeah, member list. Yeah, and then member list is equal to underscore unique member list. So I'm pretty sure Lodash unique does what I want. That's never gonna work. Delete element from array. Oh, I can do find index. Okay. Find index. Here then -1 delete member list. Page. I guess this should also be this. So you call this array from. Semicolons. Okay. So these huge changes to that function should all work. But I think it's a good idea to test those thoroughly, which I'll get to in a second. But first, let me see if the observed behavior is what I expect it to be. Oops. Means, no, that's wrong. Cannot read property ID of undefined. Okay. Time to start console logging. Okay. Let's put this guy. And I can copy this as curl just to make it a little more straightforward to see what I'm doing. Oh, does this not let me? I guess I can do it here. Now read property ID undefined. Let's see. So I deleted 3. That worked. Oh, this is probably it. Do all that fighting. Just work for now. Up yet, not back up yet, not back up yet. Okay, I wish I knew which line is causing this problem. Cannot read property ID of undefined. Um, okay, let's just do console.log. And here we'll see where it restarts. Okay, okay, I've understood what's happening. When JavaScript deletes items from an array, it leaves an undefined empty item in that place. Stupid ass JavaScript. Okay. So that's why it's choking, because it deleted the first one and then it couldn't delete the second one because you can't compare member.id. So one solution is to put a question mark here, which is the new JavaScript nullish coalescing operator. So that if membership is undefined, it just may treat that as undefined, and now it should work. And it's amazing that I had to know that, which is stupid. But that's JavaScript for you. Yeah, well, at least the good news is I did know that. And I believe it should be fixed now. But yeah, that's why it's hard to write, even in TypeScript, it's hard to write without unit testing things because, like, yeah, plain reading of the language doesn't show you what it's doing at all. Also, when I return these, I want to filter out the things so I can use a Lodash helper function called compact, which will remove all the undefined members of member list. And that actually is my final solution to my bug. Okay, sweet. So now we have the shorter list. Right. So that's exactly what we wanted. It's now respecting the excluded people. So let me add that, and I can just save this for now as well. Filtering out excluded members correctly. But now I need to write a test for that situation to avoid it occurring again by accident in the future. So this is the test that gets the external member list. But this member list does not have an excluded member, right? So add external group, expect updated group include internal and external groups to be 2. Okay. Get active member list. Okay. So I actually want to duplicate this test a bunch of times because, oh no, I want to duplicate this test. Get external list for group, or I can just extend this test to test the more advanced situation. Let's leave you out of it for a minute and let's test you. And basically the difference is I want to look at the member list here, and then I want to exclude one of the members and make sure they're not in the same list again, right? And we don't need this async done thing anymore. So let's try to log the member list. Actually, let's try to exclude this member, whoever it is. Example external member is equal to, right, and then okay, and then example external member ID to be right, and okay, as okay. So how as works? Let's try that. Yep. Right. I want this to be example external member ID. And now I want to exclude the example external member. So await group service. What is the call? Exclude external member. Group ID, external member ID. Okay. So I actually didn't need to do this last transformation at all because I just need ID. Okay. Now let's try to exclude our example member. Let's see how that goes. So await group member list, get external member list for group. Okay. Let's do await group service. Okay, let update group. Await group service dot exclude external member group ID and B and external member ID. Const updated meeting list is equal to await group service dot get external member list for group group. Now I want to check that semicolon. So wait group service and get external member list for group. Yeah, okay, that's right. And now I want to expect member list of find index to be -1 and member list to be 2. So this is updated member list. Okay, so let's try to give this test a spin. I think I have to do the testing from inside the container, if I remember correctly. So let me go to my VirtualCoffeeBot folder. CoffeeBot and docker compose exec vcp app bin bash. And now I can do npx just source services group. So, oh no, response test group.services test. Okay, see if it worked. Yeah, last week the tests were really timing out because each time they have to connect to the database. So I went and gave them a default 90-second timeout. After I did that, all the inconsistent behavior went away. Nice. So that did pass. Oh, I see we are joined by another participant. So welcome. If you feel like engaging, there is a chat. I see you said, hey, in it. Welcome to our chat. If you prefer to stay anonymous, that's fine. If you would like to introduce yourself or speak in some way, you're more than welcome to as well. I'm Aditya. I go by the name Ninja A. And if you would like me to step back and show you what VirtualCoffeeBot is, let me. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Well, welcome anyway. VirtualCoffeeBot is a pretty simple app. I can show you how it works. It's pretty cool. It's designed to allow people to coordinate groups of people, like pairs of people or small groups of people, to meet. I'll just give you a demo. It's pretty well developed. So I can connect it to my Slack, and it's for like organizations. And if you allow the bot into your Slack workspace, it allows the user to create a virtual coffee group, which I'll show you how that works. So it's just, let's call it cool people who want to meet. Right? This is a group of people who every week the bot is going to pair people within that group to meet up. So you can, the administrator or who any user actually can, click on different channels and incorporate all the members from there. And then if they want to exclude a few members because they haven't opted in or whatever, some of them are bots or whatever, they can fine tune the list of final participants, and then the bot generates a list of meetings. And in this meeting, I'm working on converting this. If you look at this in the network, this list is actually just a list of pairs and members. I'm going to replace it with, like right there, you can see it's a list of pairs and members. I'm going to replace it with a meeting object so that I can get marked meetings as done to work. And also, once some meetings are marked as done, I can schedule all the future meetings so that we can show a page like this, which is like, on the week of next week, these people will meet, and the week after, these people will meet. So that's what's going on over here. Thanks for joining. Right. So where I was, there was a bug where the member list was not respecting the excluded members, like these two members here. I fixed that. So as you can see now, you can see the member list is just the people who are supposed to be included. And now the next thing I'm going to turn my focus to is replacing that list with a list of meeting objects instead of meeting member lists. So I started out doing that in my unit test last week, which I'll just show you. It's pretty much the same sort of, like my test fixture data is really similar to the example data in our workspace because I kind of copied it and just anonymized it. So actually, I've kept the function call the same, like I've generated the pairs using generate meetings for groups, and actually generate meetings for groups should. I hadn't fully decided this last week. That's why I did it this way. Um, the code to create the meetings is right here, but actually this code that creates the meetings should probably go inside the generate meetings for group function. And maybe the generate meetings for group function should take another parameter that's like refresh, which is equal to true, right? Because if you want to refresh it, it'll just delete the cached meetings or the existing meetings and it'll regenerate them. Or if they don't exist, it'll create them. So that's basically what I want to do. I want to change the way this generate meetings for group function works to include that refresh layer. And the activity it'll do on that refresh is this. It'll actually take those members and push them into meetings and return a list of created meetings. Or it'll just load the meetings that have already been created from the database. There will, when that happens, be some logic around, has the member list changed? Because something we would always discuss is what happens, and this already has happened. Like at my workplace, we do this manually already, where someone leaves the company and someone new joins. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to implement that off the bat. Definitely not at launch, but it is obviously going to come up because you don't want to be scheduling meetings for people who no longer are active or no longer want to participate. So it will come up, and so the underlying functionality is that refresh flag, which says take a brand new look and generate the meeting list. Or maybe the detection can be done within the function. I'm not sure. It's time to look at it. So real quick, I'm just going to run this test once to sanity check what's going on, and then I will jump into modifying the function to do the things I just discussed. Right. So if you look at it here, it's creating meetings for me. And there's 3 meetings: VirtualCoffeeBot, Ninja, who really should have my email address removed, and Elias, who also should have his email address removed, and user 1, VirtualCoffeeBot, Elias, and Aditya, 3 members, 6 meetings. I think that's what's going on over here in my test scenario. So yeah, it's good. I just wanted to know that. And let me scrub my email out of here real quick. It's cool you guys see it. Y'all can write me, but I should just change it. Random, well, the name. Random .xx. Yeah. And yeah, so that's my real phone number too. Great. Let's change that. Hey TJ, what's up? You don't have to speak since this is being broadcast in public. And you don't know if you want to be referred by that. But yeah, if you'd like to say hi or say what's up or anything, I'm around. And if you'd like me to demonstrate what VirtualCoffeeBot is again, let me know in the chat and I'll think about it. New name, advanced. Actually, I'm just actually at this time just removing some personally identifiable information from the cool, sounds good. So personally identifiable information from my tests. Yeah, somebody and some just place last name everywhere, Control H. Somebody his email address. with next one. All right, cool. That's one step towards. You know what? Cool. Now let's talk about moving this code here in this test into the generate meetings for group function. So let's look at the generate meetings for group function. So generate meetings for group function takes the group ID, the meeting size, which by default is 2, and then I was going to add a new parameter, which would be refresh, which would be Boolean. By default would be false, I think. And then I should actually look. I just learned how to become a JavaScript programmer and TypeScript programmer around the same time I started writing this app. So I now know that people like to pass objects because then they can test the type of the object that's been passed, especially in TypeScript, instead of passing arguments. But now I don't want to rewrite my whole program, even though I don't love its function parameter style. So I'm just going to go with more ifs and more manual type checking. Refresh. Okay, why is this freaking out about refresh? Oh, because it's never used. Okay, so I think it's only called once, and I can put refresh false on the meeting size right there, and then also use my test, which I'm looking at, where obviously I can control the fact that I don't want to refresh it, although it should matter because there's no exit meeting. So what does refresh mean? So the first thing is this functionality does work really well, exactly the way it works. So I should probably just rename this function, create a new function, which is kind of what I was going for here, get meetings for group. Maybe I'll go back to that. So what I really want to do is const meetings list await group service dot get meetings for group id false. Mature. And that's what I want to do. And then generate meetings group can still be the helper function that actually returns pairs members if they're required. So let's move. Oh, I see. I've already put a regenerate argument here, which is refresh. So I guess this thinking is old, not new. And yeah, that's why the objects, because they're easier to type. And now I no longer want. This is the code that's supposed to go in here. So the first thing I want to do is figure out if my group has meetings, right? So where in the schema are the meetings? How can I look them up? Schema. So let me look at the group object. And the model meeting was affiliated to group by a relation called group meetings. And if I look for the other group meetings, right, so this group should have a relation called meetings. So how do I load that? It's been a while since I've looked something up from Prisma. So this get group with ID, what does that return? Does that return meetings? Get group with ID. The default group include, which does not include meetings. So I can add that. Meetings True. And then this ORM will just join that automatically. So now if I do get group with ID, group.meetings should be populated. So const existing group wait this dot get. One thing I'm going to do is I liked this test the way it was before, so I should move this and just duplicate the whole test and then have this meaningfully test whatever it tests and then start over. So this will be the preserved test. So this can be test generate meanings for test meaning generation underline. That should be the end of it. Cool. So that's saving this test. Let me just make sure it's as expected, and then I'll go and start messing with this one. Which is the same one, but it's the new function meetings for group. On my test learning, I can do this get group with ID, group ID. Now, okay, if not group, do I do this here or do I do it somewhere else? Okay, there you go. Okay. So now the group is definitely existing. So now let's do console.log group.meetings. And at least this tag, oh, failed? Why did it fail? Argument type false. How do I fix that? Group service test, line 149. Oh. Wait, what? Huh. Okay, TypeScript. You climb off your own good. Okay, it's not the test that I wanted. I want this test to run, and then I want to go back to working on the new one. Okay, cool. So that works. Let me just commit real quick. And since I'm being thorough-ish, this has the generate function. Generate means for coffee group for me. I'm just going to create a clone. Oh, I did that wrong. Let's go back to where it was. I'm going to do another function that's really similar that's called get meetings for coffee group for me, which calls get function. Got right? It's all the same. There's all the same. Group service. Get meetings for group. Ready? Meeting size. No. The get meetings for group has a different prototype, but I just meeting size regenerate false. Okay. Right. And then just so to wire it up to the front end, there should be an endpoint for it. Where's get meetings? So instead of generate meetings, I'll do get meetings. Get sync. Get meetings. And all right, so I have lost you. And then I'm going to include this function here, right there. Oops. And now endpoint that called get meetings. It's really similar to generate meetings, but I will substitute out the end one for the other. And generate meetings will do the underlying generation, and get meetings will do all this extra logic, create the actual meeting objects, so on and so forth. So this should be an empty array at this time. So let's see if that's the case. So we're now testing this. And now I'm going to do get meetings for group instead of generate meetings for group. Size 2 false. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And what do I expect? What do I expect? Well, this is the code that I want to move later to that function to create the meetings. But right now, I expect it to just console.log an empty array. And then I can proceed from there. So I should be seeing an empty array. Let's hope that's the case. Okay, why did I see no empty array? Okay, so get meetings for group. I was in this function. I don't see any output. So let me console.log the whole group, I guess. See what we got here. Oh, did I forget to save something? So let's do this. Good. I think the meetings really should be an empty array. And it should be included. Oh, for whatever reason it did show up this time, it is an empty array. That's what I expected. So now, if regenerate or I can also do regenerate is equal to regenerate or group meetings. Here we know. Show me back now. So now I can do if regenerate. Is that right? to regenerate, or there are no meetings. Right? So if regenerate, right? There's the create a meetings code. Right here. It's going to get slightly tricky, but let me code for the happy path first, because I guess if I'm not sure in Prisma how to delete a bunch of database objects at once. So Prisma delete database objects. Delete user, wait, Prisma user to delete where? Delete users, delete many, okay. Okay, so this I should be able to just do this. So if regenerate, I should delete existing meetings. So that would be await. What's the response? Or whatever. Let's try this. So it would be if await Prisma dot meetings delete. So let me take a look over at my meeting service real quick and see if I have implemented anything like that. Oh, this meeting service test. That's not right. I want to do meeting service. So, create meeting. Not yet. Wait, Prisma.db. That's what I'm going to do. Prisma.db. So this should obviously be moved to the meeting service, but for now, we'll just do it here. Maybe singular because it's a database object, right? And delete many, and where or what? Where the group ID is this group ID. Delete many. What is the response of this? Oh, it returns a count. Const count where provide filter here. Yeah, okay. So it gives you a count. Where let's take that example again. Where and I can do group ID or list ID. Meeting has a group ID. Where group ID? Group ID is group ID. Group ID. Here's the group ID. And TypeScript from insert comma. Okay. All right. And that should be good. So this should delete all existing meetings. Probably move that to a function in the meeting service just for hygiene. And we test for it. We get it there. Now, let's create some meetings. I guess they'll automatically be linked. Let's create. I think of that because they're linked by Prisma. Okay, and let's create meetings list. So const meetings list to generate meetings for group. List generate meetings for group. Group ID and meeting size. Right, so far so good. Now for the member lists, member IDs. meetings.push meeting service. Meeting service is not included. Should probably import it. Import service. Okay, let me pick that up from the one, I guess. Let's go. Oh, new problems, TypeScript. Okay, this is not cool, what is going on here. It was just working in the other place, so why isn't it working here? Meeting member list with meetings list. Type promise. Oh, I didn't wait. Thank you, TypeScript. Okay. Wait. Uh-huh. So this will be group. There are already varieties. And it might actually be done completely. So for this is recorded. Although if we generate, yeah. So that will create the meeting list. Now the meetings are generated, and so I should just return the reloaded group. That's the typical response. To delete this dot get group. I think yep. I mean, a little expensive on the database, but I think that function principally does everything that I wanted it to do. I'm really happy with the pseudocode, so let me save plus outline of get meetings for group. It should give me grouped up meetings. Let's take a look at them. It should give me an updated group actually. So group is equal to right here group service console.log updated group. Let's see what happens. No problem now. Type null. Oh, I see. Because it could theoretically be null. Because the outcome of this can be right. Group. Name group. Where do I get the name group from? This one? Just a moment to figure out our external member, comma, group. It's not used anymore. Okay. Now what's the problem? Add group. Oh, that's right. It's not group. So I don't understand what. Okay, let's see what is happening here. Why are you choking? No. What is your prototype? Group and include external groups. And yeah, okay, I know exactly where it is. So why are you saying no? Look at the other. I guess I can return prisoner group.find instead of. Okay, let me add external group work. Oh, I can just do. Okay, this guarantees that it will be no some TypeScript nonsense. Okay, const um, update group with means. For now, and see what happens. Oh, um, if not, give meetings. And oh, okay, let's hope this gives me a list of meetings. Is it worth the effort, TypeScript? Yeah, I guess this is a problem with TypeScript. What I want is this type, which is so strange. Um, it's this type, so it's group and, but that's really hard to. Maybe I can create a new type that's typed this way. Maybe. Oh, nice. So this is a list of meetings without showing me the members who are in that meeting. But the good news is it's a list of meetings. And I can fix that by doing this. Include um, include external members, where's the participants? Right? Not created. Yeah, cool. So now that should give me a list of meetings with members. Did it? Yes. So that's your participants. This is object because console.log doesn't render sub objects. I'd have to JSON stringify it, but as you can see, none of these many meetings have occurred. They're all in the future. They're all in the future. They're all next Monday, and my goal is to mark some of them as having occurred, and then schedule the remainder on subsequent Mondays. So that's what I'm trying to do today. So yeah, this is good. So clearly the meetings are being created and are in the right place, which is good news. The only thing that's not so good news is that this logic is a little tortured, but that's something else that I should actually figure out. I'm using an ORM, it's called Prisma. It does a really good job of strong typing, but that also means that it creates these magic types. Like, so the return type for get group with ID is like it's a composite type, which is like the group object plus include external groups, external group, and memberships. It's got like a really deep nested type, which is really useful while programming, but really hard to work with when trying to use like variables, because I can't grab this type with one handy name. So maybe if there's a way to copy paste this and save it as a name, that could be really useful for tests. Like I just wanted to reuse this variable, but it choked because it said like it can be null. In the standard way in TypeScript, instead of saying it's not null, you say what kind of type it is. But the kind of type it is a group and include external groups, external and memberships. It's like weird ass type with the dot 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 in here, which is generated. So yeah, I gotta figure out what to grab this type with. Go to type definition. Oh, fascinating. Okay, that's not helpful. Go away. There's a way to get the type definition. I have seen it. Or I need to figure it out because I need it. Or I need a way. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure out a way to do it. Okay. So meetings are being generated. Now it's time to mark some as no, not yet. Now it's time to finish the test and then edit test. Or mark is done. Okay. So updated meetings, blah blah blah. Don't need this anymore. So basically the logic is the same as last time. There should be 3 meetings with 2 people each. So how do I test that? First I should test that the length of this is 3. And uh, let me test the first meeting's length. Meetings 0 dot participants. Sweet. So that is actually exactly the test I want to write. See if it works, and if it does, we can go on to the next item on the agenda, which is marking a meeting is done. Which is also really simple. Yeah. All right, worked well. All right, so this test works. So that completely works. I'll put that because I'm really pleased with that. That really was an internal milestone for me. Now, let's try copying that test and marking the meeting is done. Get it. Yeah, I guess I don't know why I'm passing the meeting size here. That should be a coffee group setting, frankly. And if that changes, regenerate should be true. So let me make a note of that. I don't know if I can tackle that right now because it would just slow down my launch. But I might have to. So let's make a list. So this I fixed. This is fixed. And now let me add the new issue, which is the new issue is get meetings for group. Should save meeting size program. as a coffee group for him. And if there's a mismatch because it changed, generate. All right, cool. So I can get to that later, but I guess when the prototype changed, the logic changed. That happens. Now, new test, which is we have our group and we want to mark the first meeting in this group as done. Get schedule, comma, and mark first meeting as done. Cool. So meeting, first meeting to so now I'm at the first meeting and done. So I should just be able to do, what is a hygienic way to do this? I mean, obviously I can just do first meeting dot occurred, no, but I have to do it in Prisma, right? So save changes in Prisma. I've forgotten it. Let me just use the meeting service. So we await meeting service mark meeting as done. Post meeting ID. And let's write that function, which would just be saying mark meeting as done. Or ID, no, it's just a meeting ID. The number set, and should just set it, which should be return await prisma.db meeting.update data code true. This should be where ID, meeting ID, and then include participants. Sure. Reinvent. Right, so that should be the mark meeting as done function. I removed the meeting service myself, so now I gotta get back. And then T2RS meeting service slash meeting service and cost updated post meeting is equal to, that should give me the meeting back, and then I can do expect post meeting, update post meeting dot code to be true, honestly, and then actually this is on Hygienic. I should load it from the database and make sure it's correct over there. I guess I can do let Actually get the meetings again. Why not using the same function? Without let this time. And now I expect the count of done items for core meetings to be one. So is equal to, let's do number of core meetings because that's just more healthy. Updated group meetings dot find footer meeting dot core, right? And that will be a number. Cost. Ooh, and then expect core meetings to be one. Smashing. It's amazing. All right, let's see if that worked. Ooh, that didn't work. Tick, 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 tick. All right, what's your problem now? Property mark meeting as done. Mark meeting as done. Yes, it does. Oh, I forgot to say. I would explain. Okay. All right, failed. Why? Promise mark meeting is done. Does not exist in type create meeting. What? What? You tripping out about meeting ID? Solved our log. Here, are you choking for some reason? TypeScript? It's usually for some useful reasons, so I shouldn't sound so negative about it. But no, it's working. So, or did it just work? It did work, didn't it? Didn't it? Why didn't it show me the new updated first meeting? Very trippy. Or because I hadn't saved. Basically, it worked. It works. This item is done. I should probably add a. Yeah, that's what I thought. It totally works. Occurred true. Yep. All good. Okay. So mark meeting is done is working, but I should quickly add an endpoint to actually allow somebody to mark meeting is done. Um, um, I was to add the endpoint, I should be sanity checking. Well, you're in the same organization, so it can't really be that. That checks that at the top. But I'll probably do me dot coffee group ID like this, but a new one that says mark meeting done meeting ID. I think that's the same way to do it, even if the actual function doesn't need the group ID. Me coffee group ID mark meeting done meeting ID and function mark meeting done for me. function doesn't exist yet. Add it here to this list. But it doesn't exist there. So let's go to controller and not being done for me. Let's copy you and add you. And for me, already is there group ID, is there meeting ID is the next one. Showing the arrow, invalid meeting ID. And then const result is rate meeting service. Mark meeting as done. Number meeting ID. That is that. Okay. The service is not here. I can include it for meeting service. And that's that. So this function will now work. So let me add that to my notes real quick from collaborator different. I added two endpoints, one of which for get meetings. So the two endpoints I added were get meetings and marketing done. Save these in here. I have added two endpoints so far. They are equivalent. The last one will be to schedule upcoming meetings. I'm not going to send the message yet because I never just finished that. So let's save all that. So add to this whole points. Let's do this. You run schedule remaining meetings by week. Okay. So the first thing to do is to set up the test here, because that's clearly the easiest way to test things. I'm going to copy this test because it's so well so far. And I'm going to really its subscription to match for an outcome test tested, which is the get first meeting is done. Schedule future meetings up meeting is done. Cool. So far so good. Now we have the updated group of meetings. We don't actually need to do this stuff because we know that it's going to work, but whatever, it's fine. Now, up here, what we want to do is run a function, schedule meetings, unscheduled meetings, I guess. So I guess when you mark a meeting as done, you might as well mark it as scheduled. I'm kind of up in the air about that. Whatever, schedule on unscheduled meetings. So let's call it updated group with meetings equal to await group service dot schedule meetings for group. group.id. That's how it's going to work. I guess we don't, I just came up with that. So let's add our function that does this. It means work is here. Next function will be async schedule means for group. Group by number. What would you do? First, just do this. Schedule check. Load the group. What's next? How do we do the schedule algorithms? Yeah. So it's new variable name again. Schedule meetings. Now, how do I do this? So first, I want to list all the unscheduled meetings, all the unique members. Then I want to list all unscheduled meetings. Then I want to step through each week. Each subsequent week for each unique member. Make sure there's a weekly meeting. And no unique members remain. Yeah, for the next week. So it's like it's a thing that will consume. I mean, I don't stand it, I figured it out in my head. So hopefully 17 minutes is the right amount of time to get to the first draft of it. Should be. So first I want to list all the unique members. Where do I get a list of all the unique members in this group? Get external members for group, I believe, is the right place to do that. Get external member list for group. What do you return? Yes. Exactly what I want. So first I list all unique members. So unique members equal to wait. This get external members for group. That's the whole group. Okay, cool. Good. Handy. Now a list of all unscheduled meetings. So scheduled meetings. TypeScript. Unscheduled meetings. It is group meetings filter meeting dot occurred. So I want meetings that have not occurred, and meetings and not been scheduled. Back to what. So now I have 2 unscheduled meetings and 3 unique members in my test, which I can just take a look since I like to do that, or I can just keep going on. What's wrong here? Oh, I want to step through each subsequent week. What does that mean? Cool. So I want to generate an array of arrays. That's what I want to do for each week. So let's call it const future weeks of meetings. Let's call future rounds of meetings, since the rounds don't necessarily have to repeat. Future rounds of meetings is an array. This is going to be an array of an array of meetings. So now what I'm going to do is for unique member of members. Okay, and let's start with const week offset is equal to 0. Yeah, so 0 is next week. For unique member of unique member, const unique member of unique members. For each member, make sure we clean them. Okay. So if not, future rounds meeting is 0. Round offset, round index is what it should be. Then future rounds meetings round index is equal to an integer. And at the end of this, I have the round index plus plus. Cool. So now we're going to go through each round of meetings. So now that I have the round of meetings, what's wrong with plus plus? No. So now what I want to do is for each unique member, make sure there's a weekly meeting. No unique members remain for the next week. Right. Make sure there's a weekly meeting. Okay, let's put this. Oh, I see. But I have to consume from unscheduled meetings.length. Okay. File. So how do I make sure this is a weekly meeting? So if future meetings on index, how do I do includes? How do I test memberships? Dot find index. Includes includes unique member ID. Okay. So we can get there. So what is meeting? Yes, it does. Exactly what it does. Meeting dot participants. Exactly what it does. Uh, what do you mean? What is this? I guess this is not type meeting. I hate this. Not hate it. It's just confusing. It's that Prisma Magic type. Uh, that makes you want to grab everything from the database. Um, okay. Yeah, I went for it. I started typing things myself. Media includes unique member or ID. So, right. So if the meeting participants has, right. So if this is, right, then what do I want to do? I want to do it's not. So if I'm not already a participant in these meetings, then I want to add myself to this week's list of meetings. Future rounds of meetings, round index, dot push. Okay, const find meeting is equal to where are all the possible meetings left, unscheduled meetings. Okay, find m meeting that participants map p p.id that includes the member id. So then we can do fifth find meeting and dot push find meeting. And then we want to delete that meeting um, on unscheduled meetings. So this should be find meeting index. Find meeting index variable one. Last one, then it should be push dot dot dot. Yeah, I'll copy this meeting. Oh, I think dot 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 should do that. Yeah, it's your problem now. Type in is type in never. So there we go. Stand meeting and participants external member must have like the doctor. Or we just see what happens. JavaScript read. You know, I'm going to push the meeting ID. Why did that work? Are you not type number? It's not a sign of it. Round it up. Type name. But where did I create this already? Did I just create this here? What? Meeting participants. Meeting participants map the ID includes unique member ID. So this unique member ID is not in the future round. Yeah, I created it here. Future rounds means this one hasn't been created. Okay, this is some TypeScript garbage. You try to tell me. Can't figure it out. Um, anyway, I'm at almost at my assigned time for today, so I think I'll stop there and complete this on my own time. I can post the solution in the group, and I expect to finish this soon and then try to deploy it in our session next week. I don't know if you're present, Brian, to end the stream or how you're going to do that exactly. But yeah, when you're back, I'm going to spend maybe 10 more minutes trying to fix this type error because like I just wrote that code in a rush. It's conceptually correct, but I don't know why I would choke. Why would it say type level? TypeScript declare multi-dimensional. Okay, let's try to type it. Once future rounds and meetings of number you. Oh, I see. Because our meeting objects, not meeting IDs. Although meeting IDs is more hygienic. So, oh, I do need the meeting objects, so that can't be right. So this has to be meeting. Arrays. Oh, it's be meeting and let's be this thing. And sequence. Okay, that worked. All right, Aditya, you are better hacker than you give yourself credit for being. Um, so future rounds of meetings, and then what I want to do is once I've pushed it, right? So it's not in those meetings. Let me just make this a little like easier to read. So type include meeting. Type include meeting. Stereo. Now it's still in the black from there. Meeting is okay, good. And I can also here so I can actually read it. So this will push it, and then I want to delete it from the found index. Schedule meetings, right? And then I should things. Yeah, the reason I don't think I'm going to finish this setting is because to actually test the scheduling function, the fixture data that I have is too limited. I need more examples. Like I only have 3 and 2. It's too small a set to actually see if it's doing the right thing. I probably need to like generate 6 members, 10 members, and try. But let's see if this works. So, the group. Um, just ahoy. All right, well, we're deep in the nether zone of this test. Um, okay, it's not very great that it's taking this long, but maybe it's stuck in an infinite loop. Did you think of that? No. Okay, so could be an infinite loop. So let's try console. Uh-huh. Yeah, how to keep memory. Okay, great. So it's cycling through this infinitely. So I'm gonna have to do more work. Um, because I didn't let such hacking. Okay, you lost your input loop. So console log. Please schedule a meeting to all. Um, and console log. Looking for Rambo. Meet Rambo.id. Yeah, okay. Number. If you're looking for number in unscheduled meetings, oh, um, so it doesn't matter if in the style this means future means a find index. No. Uh, if or if not found. So if not found, then find the index. No, unscheduled meeting from phone number. All right. Now we should see some output. Mhm. Okay, this is good. This is because the delete worked. So yes, okay, it is working. Ooh, algorithms. Scheduled meetings remaining two. Looking for number five unscheduled meetings. Yes, found. Looking for one unscheduled meetings. Yes, unscheduled meeting found number one. Looking for number three unscheduled meetings. Oops. It's because the delete has taken place. Oh my god, you must be like this. It's about to be reassigned. The results that make a great stopping point. Okay. Still isn't right though, because is it right? I should really likely. I feel like it's got some holes though. Oh, I see you worked. Huh? So the rounds of meetings say 1 week, 2 meetings. Wow, that is correct. Scary. All right, so I did get the result I wanted from this smaller data set, um, which is impressive, but I'm not sure at all if the algorithm that I've been thinking about it for a while. So it's pretty close to correct, but there's a couple of situations I need to write more fixture data so I can test. Like I want to have like six. Okay, so this worked off the bat, but needs the test to be complete and choose testing. Cool. All right, well, I can write Ilias and let him know of my progress. Um, I've written the algorithm, an algorithm rather, that is mostly correct, but I have to find it and test it and test it. At first, yeah. Cool. That is actually a great stopping point. So, um, yeah, I'm actually done. I'm gonna jump off. So, Ryan, I don't know if you want to end the stream or if I should just disconnect.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good.
Thanks. So I reached a good stopping point. I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but
Yep.
I do like 2.5 out of my 3 items. And to do the third one, I have a bunch more data to test through it, like fixtures. So I'm going to do my next session.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um. Okay, I'm going to stop the stream.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for attending.
And it's
And
cool. It looks like Noob and TJ both showed up. For a bit of
yeah, I'm
time.
thrilled. I'm really thrilled. I like I said, next week this time I probably going to be doing deployment because I just have to fix this and that's it. Then I can try to deploy it. So
Cool.
um, really helping me these sessions, and I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
stream worked a lot better today. Yeah. So I'm going to stop the stream and stop the recording. Thank you so much. So maybe we'll
cool.
have this next week and you'll like try test deploying it or um
Yeah, I'll set it up, and then on Monday I'll confirm that in our session I actually have everything set up to go,
yeah.
so
Cool.
we can schedule next week's go back only if I'm sure I got 2 hours of useful activity. Uh, but either next week or the week after, I want to push it to live. Like I have a lot of cleanup activity too, so I can definitely do this. Like I'll give it to my collaborator after I do this, and then make a list of all of the things that I want to clean up. So I could maybe do that, but I prefer to be deploying it. But let's just see. I'll decide on Monday exactly what the path will be. But
Cool.
if not, definitely the week after I'll deploy it.
Yep.
So it's going to happen in these 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.